This same guy had reached out to me, like, I think months after I started seeing my husband, and was like telling me how much he missed me, blah, 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 blah.
I would really come home and tell that, oh, there's a guy at work or there's a guy in church that I'm attracted to. Would you prefer I come and tell you? And he just laughed about it, thinking I'm just, I said, no, I'm serious. Like, what do you think that? And I said, has it happened? Money, no. I'm just,
Hey guys, welcome back to the Truthandtalespodcast with your favorite host, Victoria and
Yemi.
Sheko Sibai. Yemi Shakara is on another
It's
level.
another
Because
level.
she has done it like this.
Don't think.
We are not going to hear what they
What
gave.
do you think about it?
We're not going to hear what they
You
gave.
can't.
Anyways,
You
so
can't.
welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah.
us once again. You're highly welcome to another interesting episode. And today we have a very interesting gist for you guys. But before we get into that, remember that we have our personal channels linked below.
Yeah.
We are also available on all of your podcast platforms. So make sure that you listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search for Truth and Tales Podcast. Okay, we are available. All right, so we don't want to talk too much. Every information you need about this channel is in the description box below, so just click on that more below this video and you're going to see that. All right, so Yemi, what exactly are we talking about today?
Today's tale is a juicy one. It's juicy. It's so
juicy.
interesting because I know a lot of people are in this circle. A lot of people are in these shoes. So before anybody judges or points finger at this person, go and check yourself. Anyways,
check your life.
Today's tale is very interesting, and I'm just going to read it quickly for us before we delve into it. And as usual, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. As before we even start to talk about our own thoughts, just be dropping it in the comment section as you listen, okay? So I'm just going to read it. So good evening. My traditional wedding is on May 25th and wedding is on May 27th. My fiance just cancelled everything because I lied to him. I went to give my ex-boyfriend my wedding invitation. My intention wasn't to sleep over. He started begging me that we have a lot to talk about, that I should allow us talk now that I'm still single. He begged me to sleep over, and I did. One thing led to another. Let me say that again. One thing led to another. One thing led to another, and we had they says it up. All through. She even wrote all through.
All through the
exiling.
You know?
All through. I didn't tell my fiance, and he has never questioned me about that. Not knowing that he hacked my phone and is waiting for the time he will be with me to talk about it. He asked me and I lied. Then he provided an evidence. There was no way out, so I started apologizing. In my presence, he called both parents and asked them to cancel any wedding preparations. When they asked why, he told them, I will explain better. I will explain what? Better. Or she will explain better because it's not me, She will explain better. He left me in his house and went to a hotel, and he's going back to Abuja from the hotel. He instructed his gate man to make sure I leave tomorrow and I should drop the house keys with him. I've called him over 800 times. He's not picking. Please, what can I do to remedy this? I don't want to lose my man. We love each other so much. I need help, please. My fragile heart can't survive this. In short, her fragile heart can't survive this. What should she do?
Her fragile heart.
Yeah, so you people, what can she do to remedy this situation?
I'm sorry. That's fragile.
It's a fragile one. It's a fragile situation. A tender heart. In fact, honestly, as I just went through it, I was just laughing. I don't know. I was just laughing because I'm like, what exactly? What exactly is she trying to do? What exactly does she want? Because I know every time, a lot of times when we, in fact, even a lot more on this podcast, on this channel, we've talked more about, the case of women being cheated and, finding out your husband has done this, a greedy husband, things like that so many times. And it always seems like, it's always the man that is the issue. So when I read this, I was just laughing out. These are one of the cases, like this is one of the situations where a lot of women fall victim, just being dragged back by their exes. When you want to take steps forward, you want to move forward, you want happiness, you want all of those things, but something somehow in your past, with your past relationship, just keep dragging you, and we just keep allowing ourselves to be dragged back. And as I was reading, I was just so angry that
it's not our fault. It's the village people.
What kind of
they came
village
to check on her, but she was not.
Can't you say you're not at home?
Her frequency was not high.
Can't you say, if they knock on your door, you say, I'm not available. You know, go and ask them, they say, I'm not available.
Well, let's get into this.
I'm just kidding. So, let's just get into it. Let's get into it. Okay, so, Victoria, what do you think? What do you think? What can she do?
No, I think you're making an interesting point about,
I was actually, but I don't know. You know, my normal laughy step just came into it.
I am thinking about, I'm thinking about my own experience, wondering, have I ever had an ex ruin a relationship for me? I don't think I've had, you know, because when we ex, you know, those things I used to say that be friends, you can still be friends with your, You were not my friend.
No.
Where there was something that joined us together, and the thing that joined us together have to us like it has scattered us. So there's no point in continuing any form of friendship. And I hear a lot of ladies say this: "Oh, we are just friends. Oh, we dated before," and all of that. I know that this almost caused an issue between me and my husband because, you know, my husband, when we just met, trust me, my husband had boundaries now. It's just sometimes. When we talk now, and we say, I want girl was, and I'm like, but they get me any harm now. He said, no. He say, I think, let me not allow the harm to happen. Let me put her arm's length before harm will come upon me.
Before one thing will lead to another.
He was not like that. May God bless you, my star. He wasn't like that, right? He was that person that, you know, even though he had, you know, he and his exes, they are not together. They were still friends. They would still chat. You know, there was one particular lady I remember when we were dating me and my husband be together around like maybe in the night. That's what I'm doing with him in the night. Around like late in the night. If the girl will be calling, she's reporting her boyfriend to my husband.
Now.
Hey, Mama, okay, sorry, Mr. Counselor. It's only you that they are calling for. And this is not just one person. This is like 2 or 3 of them at the time. You know, and I'm like, what's your relationship with this person? And, you know, he was open and like, oh, we dated at some point in our life and all of that. And I'm like, okay, so what is the relationship now? I said, no, we are just friends. I told him, my brother, is either, because at this point, I cannot be, you know, it's a different thing if you're in competition with somebody that is literally after your man. Yeah. But it's different when you are when it's almost like you're in competition with nobody. But you are in competition with his past. That is, you know, go make sense. Right? So I'm like, and I told him, at a point, I think when we started our relationship, I was still pretending like I was okay with it because, hey, first of all, I love gist. And he was always bringing their gist to me every time. He tell me, you don't know what this, I will be gisting. At a point, when I realized, okay, some of these girls were actually, and I realized, because sometimes I've said it, men can be very, very oblivious. I realized that some of these girls were actually trying to come back to him, and I'm like, brother, so it's either you continue your counselorship career and I go and look for my husband in the forward. I'll go and look for them in the front.
You cancel yourself forward.
You cut all ties with these girls. You know, you have one more can use hand to pick one. I don't know why I keep interpreting Yoruba.
Yes, now you know Yoruba adage is bad. He hits the point. He hits it on the head.
Hey, there's no English word there's no English word that will explain my feelings. I'm like, my brother, you will choose one, no, because I cannot be in competition with your past kojo. Rara. And, you know, obviously he cut off all ties with them. Sure, it was a bit difficult because, you know, when you've built a friendship around them, like, and we had to talk about it, like, okay, so if tomorrow you see my boyfriend and me chatting, so it makes sense for you. Like, will you be okay with it? And he was like, oh no. I'm like, okay, so imagine how I feel when these people will just call you and whatever. So I'm not forcing you to do whatever you don't want to do. This is not a ultimatum. This is just me telling you what I will not accept in this marriage. So you decide. And he decided, and thank God for his life that he chose the right choice. Because anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that personally, and I know also that I remember when me and my husband started dating, I visited the barracks where I grew up, and obviously I had one boyfriend there that, you know, it was this guy, all the 6 packs and everything, every physical thing that my husband was not he is. And every other thing that my husband is like, anyways, don't let me come and say, because the people might know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I remember when I went to the barracks then, I went with my cousin. We're just like, went to visit a few friends, and then we met. And I remember he was like, oh, just catching up on old times. How are you? We are no enemies. So I'm not saying that you have to be enemies with your friend, with your exes, but give them arm's length. This same guy had reached out to me, like, I think months after I started seeing my husband, and was like telling me how much he missed me, blah, 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 blah. And funny enough, for us, we didn't really have a scandalous. I went to school, and the relationship just died in natural death, right? So it wasn't like we had any issues or whatever. So and I think it was the first guy I ever dated that never even pressured me to have sex with him or whatever. So he was good in his own way, but of course he was doing it with other people. It's not a way he was waiting for me, or he was waiting with me. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I remember that time when we met, we talked. It was fun, just catching up. And I remember when we were leaving, I changed my number. And then it was asking me for, can he have my number and all of that. I'm like, because they happen, it can't work. I'm in a relationship right away. So maybe if it didn't work out, I'll check on you. But I still have your Facebook page. I'll send you Facebook messages. I didn't give him my number because we don't. And people will always say, you never can tell where you may need the person's help in the future and all of that. When the future comes, we will deal with it
we'll
there.
Reconnect somehow.
But going to the extent, we'll reconnect. God will bring us together. We'll reconnect for that purpose, right? But I don't want to use my hand to bring my past into my life, because you need to understand that, especially for this lady, especially if you guys have had sex in the past, it's very, very difficult for you to break ties.
Yeah.
I've always said this on my channel, that sex is not just a physical thing. There's a spiritual tie to it. There's an emotional tie to it. So when you have sex with the person, you leave a part of yourself with that person. So by the time you reconnect with that person and you're always like talking together, before you know what is happening, that thing was that part you left with him, and the part inside of you will start to call each other. And if you know what's happening, one thing is going to lead to another, right? So, but I don't even understand. And this is where a lot of ladies get it wrong, like you said, wanting to keep that connection. If she did not have connection with her ex-boyfriend, there's no way she can invite him to her wedding, because I'm even
confused.
Because number one,
that part where she's like,
is a rule of thumb. You don't invite your exes to your wedding. Like, who does that? That's even disrespectful to your partner. Like, why should we? Is it a reunion? It's not a. God, I don't understand.
I think it's very.
I know.
So I just wanted to say something before we go into even the meat of this conversation today. When you were saying that you met that your ex, not really like ex per se. You guys were even more like even if you guys dated, but it wasn't like deep. You guys were in the peripheral part of your dating and all of that. There was no sex involved or anything like that. But you guys were just like dating. I remember that, and it was brave. It was really mature of you, very respectful of you to say, no, I'm not giving you my number. I remember I had this one incident like that. This person was not even my ex or anything like that. We never dated. He asked me out while I was in uni, but I never agreed. It was just like, okay, all those persons that will just invite you to their house and just buy you drinks or just see you, just be nice to you when you're out there, you're struggling with something, they'll just help you just because they want to date you. But we never really dated. I never accepted. He liked me, he would, but I didn't accept. So I remember, that was in school, in Guardrails then. I remember now this time, my husband and I were already like planning to get married. We had already gone to rent a house in Cuba then. So we're going back from Cuba now. I was going back to where I was staying with my friend in Wuse too. So I remember under that bridge, that federal housing bridge. I know you will know it. That's what I'm saying. That's how I'm describing the place.
I know. That's why. Sure, when you said Bangalada, my mind was thinking, I ate from Abuja, go Bangalada.
Yeah, imagine. So we're just waiting for the car that will take us back, and I just saw that guy there. I was with my husband and I just saw him there. We're just like, oh, Yemi just called my name. I just saw him. I was just like, hi. I just went and I gave him a hug. They're like, how are you doing? Things like that. And we're just talking. And honestly, at that point, it didn't occur to me to say, oh, I don't know whether I eventually say, oh, meet my boyfriend or anything like that, but it was just like, oh, okay, see you again too, all right. But it was like, oh, can I have your number? I was like, sure, why not? And we exchanged numbers, and it was like, oh,
no joke,
I'm telling you,
in the presence of your husband.
I'm just like, it was, oh, see, I was like, all right, bye, take care, bye. And I not still turned my face to my husband. That guy in school was my classmate in school. It was just. It was just like squeezed face, and I'm thinking in my mind like, what did I do? I'm thinking in my mind like, I was there just I'm forming. Because when I entered into the car, like there were people there, but he didn't say anything. In my mind, I was not thinking about that. What did I do? Like, what did I do? Like this person, I've never dated this person. It's just like I saw my old schoolmates, and we're just like chatty and things like that. And like in my school, like when you see somebody, everybody just hugs. Like it wasn't really like I didn't think of it that much like that. So when we now got down,
didn't introduce him.
I honestly, when we now got down to I was not like, did I do something wrong? Like that boy, maybe you thought I dated that boy. No, it was not my ex or anything like that, because I kept thinking about it. Like, no, it was not my ex, so it's just like my old colleague or things like that. And it was not like, who exactly, like, who asked you whether it's your brother? Now, why do you think you have to? Because I said this way you're squeezing face, like, I don't understand what exactly I've done. And he started to, talk about how disrespectful it is. Not only did I give him a hug, and then I was exchanging numbers, and he was there like, as what? As bodyguard or what? And I'm like, okay, I did not know. I didn't think of it as a big deal. So it was then it occurred to me that, wait, because honestly, if he was the same, if it was like the opposite case, if he saw somebody he knew before and gave the person a hug, I would just be there looking. I wouldn't really think of it as a big deal per se, because that's just how emotionally connected I am. And I think I've said it a lot of time with my relationships. I wasn't really, I did not allow myself to be so emotionally connected with them on that level that whatever you're saying, whatever you're doing, it really affects me emotionally. I just tried to, stop that. And until I got married, like really until I trusted my husband enough for me to allow myself to be emotionally connected in that way. So for me, if I had seen him with another lady like that, I don't think I would be bothered at that time. So it wasn't, I didn't think of it as a big deal, just because of, again, like I said, it was because of something that I had done within myself that, okay, I'm not going to allow myself to be emotionally connected. And this is one of the reasons why. Because I had seen a lot of women that men were just their issue in life. It was just either they wanted to marry somebody their parents did not allow. I just thought, and it was so messy, and I told myself, that will not be me. I won't stalk over a man. No, it's just not going to be me. So I never really allowed that connection. So anyways, back to that day. So when he just mentioned all of that, it was then it now occurred to me that, wait, that could have been disrespectful truly, because it didn't even occur to me to say, meet my boyfriend or anything. It was probably just, maybe after we had talked, the guy was not like, hi, just do it guy thing, and the way guys just do things, and like, and then it now occurred to me that imagine that guy must have probably felt on top of the world doing that thing to another. I don't understand. Like, it wasn't just really occurred to me that it doesn't really make sense to do that. And subsequently, I just made sure that I don't try to do anything like that. Even if, like, I just try not to be disrespectful to the person I'm dating in my relationship, of which I didn't even have any other relationship. So anyways, because there isn't to be disrespectful anymore. But the point is, genuinely at the time, I didn't know that it was a form of disrespect, just because I did not know. But that person was never my ex. If it was an ex, any ex, there was nobody I dated before that none of my ex that I would think that I wanted to go back to. No, it's not my thing, because like I said, I was not emotionally connected to that point. Like, there was even really one of them that really hurt me, that all my friends, till today, my friends still see that guy, they will probably pour shit on him. That's how much my friends really knew that, this guy really hurts me. But then I didn't even allow myself to be weighed down by that thing. I was just like, no. But they just carried it on their head like, I didn't, I did not allow it. So my point is that sometimes, yes, some people can be naive, but being naive going to a relationship shows that you need to you need to upgrade. Like, you can't, my point is, you can't form, I was naive. I did not know. I didn't count it as a big deal. Like, I didn't know it's a big deal. You can't be naive going into a relationship, being in partnership with somebody, doing life with another person. You can't claim to be naive. If you're going to date, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you might as well learn about relationships. You might as well follow Victoria Fashion channel and learn one or two things. about being in a relationship. I tell you, I'm getting this is the life hack.
Straight bullet.
This is a life hack I've given to somebody. I've saved somebody's life like this. But on a serious note,
Nah, so
but on a serious note, like that was what I just had to say that time, because like you thinking that okay, in that point, I'm not going to give you my number because I'm in a relationship. Actually saying it to that person. And I think that, let's say nothing even worked out between, let's say things did not work out between you and your husband, that guy would even respect you more for what you did with him at that time, saying no. Yeah. Because he would know that, okay, if this girl is in a relationship with me, she would respect me. She would treat me with, honor, and she would dignify the relationship as opposed to just giving the number like that. So, just don't claim that you're naive, just like me. That's the first point I just want to put out there. Don't claim that you're naive. The moment you realize that you are of dateable age or you are in a relationship, you're in courtship, increase your knowledge. Don't say you are naive. Learn what it means to be disrespectful in your relationship. This is not even marriage now.
Exactly.
We're still getting to this my fragile height situation.
Fragile.
But anyways,
we don't mean to make fun of the situation. We know it's a serious situation, but at the same time, it's a very funny situation at the same time, because you can't. I don't know about that thing you said about disrespect. I remember too that when me and my husband started dating, I remember the first day I went to his church, and then this girl came. They were gisting and talking and everything. I was right there, right beside him. It wasn't like they would talk for a long time, but to me, it sounded like they talked for eternity, even though it didn't really last 1 minute.
I've heard this gist before. That's what I'm smiling.
I felt really, really disrespected, because I'm like, so they finished talking and they get to, oh, okay, we'll talk later, and then she left. And you saw that he was with somebody. I don't blame the girl, because I know the girl they owe me anything. The person that was talking to him, the girl, that could not say, this is my fiancé, or this is my girlfriend, or this and that. Nothing like that, right? So, and he couldn't understand why I was quiet. That's the reason I was quiet to wait until we got home. And like, you don't understand how that could be disrespectful. But I'm even looking at going back to the story, right? The fact that the guy even had to hack her phone to go and look, it means that he has been suspecting something about her. Because number one, first of all, you always know, we've always said here that your phone should not be a secret. We've said it several times on this channel. You people should be able to share information, share your phone. Your phone should be an open, place for your partner. However, for him to go to the length to go, and it means that there's something off between that he has noticed between her and this guy. And she said she went there, she didn't have intention. My sister, that might not be true. I'm not going to say it's not true, but because number one, even if you want to invite your ex-boyfriend, which number one is a red flag, because like I said, for her to even want to invite him, there must have been some kind of interaction that probably the guy has noticed but didn't say anything about, or he didn't reveal, or maybe he did but the girl refused to, and then he started suspecting her. That could be, and all of these are assumptions.
It might not even be with the ex, it might be with somebody else. It might just be somebody else. Because there's for him to go to, why will you hack? There's a mistrust somewhere that the guy did not have. And then you say you didn't have intention, and one thing led to another. My sister, and then
I did it all through the night. All through the night. When he was removing your top, nothing clicked in your head. When he was removing the singlets, or he didn't even wear singlets. Let's even say he didn't wear bra. He removed the top, it didn't click. They removed the shokoto or the skirts. Or let me say you wear gown. When he raised it up, nothing happened. When it enter this side, nothing's quick in your head. But this is wrong. And then you did first round, second round. You're not saying you didn't plan to. Because the reason I'm saying is because I've heard you experienced my star. The truth is that I've heard a lot of ladies say this, like, they want to have one last wild night before they get married. Which is stupid, to be honest, because if you choose you want to go to be with this person, you want to be with the person, you've chosen your life. So what is before I get tied down with one man, let me go and enjoy one last thing with my ex or with it. I've seen ladies talk about this, and it's very, very ridiculous, right? And I think it's unfair, because imagine, like, how can I trust you? If I cannot trust you a few days to our marriage, how am I sure that when we get married and this ex-boyfriend, let's even say now the two of you married, he didn't find out, and then this time you went to the guy's house to give him IV. What about the two of you jam? Maybe
at a conference
you jam in the elevator, and they're at a conference, and then you are staying in the same hotel. I can't trust you to not, fall. Like, could make sense. You understand that? So, first of all, what I want to address in this is, my sister, just say you did it. Do it. Say it with your full chest. You went there, you had sex. There was no mistake about it. Sex does not happen by accident. It's either you thought about it or you weigh the pros and cons. Sex does not remove your brain. Whilst the action was going, you knew. And then, I think this is a big drip. See, I believe everybody can change, right? Although this particular situation, even me, I will advise the guy to, even if you want to forgive, postpone the wedding date, because I really need to be sure that you are a new person before we end up getting married, right? But that's even an aside, right? The guy now asked you now lied about it. It's different if maybe, okay, because if you made a mistake, you made a mistake. I always tell people, and I always tell my husband, that was one of the rules we made before we got married. If for any reason, you not sex, so let's not even talk about sex. Okay, you are in somebody by mistake, maybe the devil used you and it wasn't really you, and the devil came inside of you and you kissed the girl, or maybe you sent a text you shouldn't have sent, or you shared something you shouldn't have shared. It's better you come and tell me by yourself, and then let me decide to stay. Let me decide that, okay, I want to continue, I want to forgive you, than when I find out. Because me finding out, if I didn't find out, you wouldn't tell me, and then you are only sorry because you got caught. You weren't sorry because of what you did, right? So I don't know, I just feel like a lot of things is wrong in this. There's a lot of red flag, which I could understand the guy's reason for saying that. Let us hang it here, because she's talking about she called her parents. It's like, what is even paining is the fact that everybody's not going to know what happened. It's like, what is paining you really is the fact that he called off the marriage, and now all your family members.
No, she said she doesn't want to lose her man.
About what she said,
she doesn't want to lose her man. Her fragile heart is.
But the first thing she said is, okay, he's calling you, you want to call off the marriage and all of that. My sister, face it. If you can do the crime, you do the time. I bet Jesus said, if you do the crime, you do the time. So you've done the crime. Accept what came with your full chest. If the guy decides to forgive you, can try to convince him and whatever. But that's what you can do so that you get married. Even if it's my brother, he won't get married. No. Even I can't force my brother to do anything, but we advise him. Be sure that everything is correct. Everybody can change. I always say this: nobody is a cheater by this is your destiny. You are a cheater. You are a cheat forever. I don't believe that. I believe people can change, but give them time to prove themselves that they've changed before you decide to get married.
I completely agree with that, because the lady must have really been showing some kind of signs that cause mistrust. And I even appreciate the fact that the guy did all of that research before he then got into marriage. Because if he had gotten married to her and then he found out that this is what he did, honestly, I don't know the future of that marriage. It's already a very wrong way to start a marriage. The foundation, it will be shaky. He might decide not to leave her, but then continue to punish her and then do certain things that even him never believed he would do. It might just change a person. A guy that maybe had the intention of loving his wife and doing all of these things, being faithful, seeing that while in marriage, it might just break him and lead him to make him do things that he never even knew that he's capable of doing. So I really love the fact that he found out before the marriage. But then another thing I would say is that, which is something that I caught when you were talking about, the decision that you and your husband has made, that whatever it is, let me know. I remember sometime like a few weeks ago, when my husband and I were just doing garden work that day, and I just randomly thought about, and there was a movie I watched the day before, and I was just talking about it, and I was asking him that, we had when we were still in China, we used to have this like Wednesdays, what do we used to call it, house fellowship, in the way we used to do it in Nigeria, but we used to do it then in our fellowship in church. And we did this particular teaching on, it's called Guardrails. It's called Guardrails. And then the preacher said something, and he talked about it in the context of marriage, like, how you can set guardrails in your marriage. Like, for example, both of you will say, okay, I would never as a pastor, I would never have a female secretary. Those are just guardrails. It doesn't mean that he would want to sleep with another woman, or he would want to go outside of the commitment of marriage or outside of their vows, but he's just a guardrail that he has put in place so that it would never happen. Now, there's a different thing where temptation arises, but before temptation arises, these are the things I would do. And it's just like, you know, what you've said, that, okay, this thing has not happened. We don't have plans for it to happen. But let's just say, what are the, you know, the things that we have put in place, which is very good. So anyways, I watched that movie. I remember that teaching that we've heard, and I asked my husband that day that, would you prefer that, let's say, for example, I see a guy at work that I like, I'm just admiring, like just attracted to, or things like that. And would you prefer I come home and tell you that, okay, I see somebody, no, not like the normal joke that, you know, I would joke, I'm like, guy, you're fine, I'll just look at him, like, just not those other mumutis, you know. Like, I would really come home and tell that, oh, there's a guy at work, or there's a guy in church that I'm attracted to. Would you prefer I come and tell you? And he just laughed about it, thinking I'm just, you know, I said, no, I'm serious. Like, what do you think that? And I said, has it happened? Money, no, I'm just
I'm a lover. He's trying to check the pay. I mean,
what's happening there? So, it wasn't like, has it happened? I said, no, it hasn't happened. I'm just thinking, like, I know how to explain. I saw this movie, I remember this thing, that's what happened. So it wasn't like, so it wasn't like,
explain.
I had to explain myself, because somebody will be looking at me with side eye.
Bombastic side eye.
Attire. So I now asked the question, and it was that like, he would prefer I say to him, he would prefer I like tell him about it, not just for him, but for me as well. Because if I say it, that thing will no longer have a hold on me. That attraction will start to reduce. And that was one of the things even the preacher said in that message, particular message, that it's not just about, you know, the person you're telling, oh, you're being honest in this marriage, or you're not just honoring the marriage, or you're not just honoring the relationship, but you're doing yourself.
You're being accountable.
Yes, you're doing yourself a lot of good when you just voice it out, because it will no longer have a hold on you. You will no longer think that, oh, that attraction will not grow further. Okay, it won't have room to grow. It won't have room to breathe, because you've already mentioned it. There's something about you, even when your husband is not watching, you begin to subconsciously feel like, oh, somebody's looking at me, oh, your husband is there, and things like that. So he mentioned that he would prefer for me to say, not just for him, not just for the sake of the marriage, but for myself, so that nothing will have that much hold on my head. And I was like, okay, and we just talked a lot more. And it's just something that I thought to share, that when you have that much attraction or that much emotional connection to an ex, it is better that you're honest with yourself and not try to move forward. Because there's been ladies that, okay, I'm trying to get over an ex, they go into a relationship not knowing that that relationship will take them further than what they had anticipated. That person is liking them. Now it has led to almost to marry. That's when they now realize, oh, but I still have this emotional connection with my ex. And especially with the case of this particular person, they must have been keeping in touch. They have kept in touch to the point that I want to marry. I thought of doing you the honor to personally bring my Ivy.
Personally. You didn't even send my WhatsApp. Personally take it to your house.
It not even send Korea. It not send Keke na Pep to carry. She
carry it by yourself.
Herself. To
with
go
your
and deliver
2 left leg.
The message, you know, that, hey boo, hey ex boo, I'm getting married to a new boo.
I'm getting married.
You know, so there's so many times that, you know, we have that kind of emotional connection to the past, that you just feel a certain connection that you have not broken ties from. Again, you are doing yourself a whole lot of good by breaking that ties, by breaking that connection, by separating from your ex. It helps you to move forward in your marriage. Imagine, like, there's so many things that would make your marriage, that will give your marriage a wrong start. Like, it will make the relationship shaky. For example, what I said I did with myself as well, that I'm not going to allow myself to be emotionally connected to somebody so much that I cannot just withdraw from you. It was like an example of a barrier that I carried into marriage. So you carrying an emotional connection, like heavy body, going into a marriage. And you say you have fragile heights. You're not even happy. You fragile heart.
Oh,
you know,
if you fragile heart, my dear, you are
strong. She's a strong woman.
You are strong.
She's not even helping the fragile heart, because how can you be here and there all at the same time. The one emotional space that you have, you're sharing it here and there. You're not even allowing yourself to concentrate, to grow, even in this marriage that you're in, to build that life with this new person. So you're doing yourself a disservice by holding on to that past. Let it go. Then why did you even, my point is, why is the person an ex? If you, like, I'm not understanding. What exactly is the ex, in particularly? But anyways, that's just where I'm going to.
I was remembering another incident like that I saw actually on Instagram too. This lady too was talking about how they're about to get married. So she was saying that like they were about to get married, but she was broke, she didn't have money, and I think her boyfriend did not have money, and blah blah blah. So a friend introduced that to this club where they pay ladies for dancing naked, and she went there and she danced naked. And somebody took a picture and sent it to her. I'm not even surprised if that is that her friend that took picture of her and sent it to her boyfriend. But that is just to tell you like when you are keeping secrets, which see there are a lot of things you don't tolerate when you're in a relationship with when you are in a serious relationship, or you are sure there are certain things you shouldn't even tolerate in your life at all, right? Not to even talk of when you are with somebody like I don't know. People have mind.
Mind.
It's a lot.
Yeah, mind.
It's a lot. Let us know what you guys think. What advice do you have for this lady? Because she said our wedding is behind me already. Time is going.
That wedding is finished July.
In case you watch this video by accident, okay, what do you guys think? We don't mean to. I know a lot of things we've said today has been like, because the story is like it's funny, and it's not also funny at the same time, because obviously it's someone's story, it's a life story, and she needs help. But we also we cannot say that we should provide help and not address what the situation is. And we hope that maybe it's not even about this lady, maybe it's somebody out there, you are in a relationship and you are telling yourself that, oh, your ex is just nothing, we are just friends, there's just nothing. You need to be careful, especially if there's been like sex, things that connect you guys together. You need to be, you need to really, really envision it, okay? If something happens, if you and your ex are trapped somewhere, do you have enough self-control not to do that, right? So there should be certain things that you put. My mom always says that like any of his friends, not even exes or friends that gets married or is in a serious relationship, it backs out. In short, I remember one of them sending me a message, you've not called me, then we've not even gotten married and all of that. And it was like, you're in a relationship. I have to, you are married, I have to back out. It's not about you did anything. It's just me giving respect to the man you're married to, and I will expect that my wife's friends will also accord me that, male friends accord me that respect. It doesn't mean you stop being friends, but that closeness you used to have. That's why the other day we talked about having a male best friend. Somebody actually reached out to us on Instagram, but the problem is we forgot to. It took a while before I saw her message, and she was like, she wanted to share her own story about male boyfriend. I don't know the story, but we didn't reach out on time. By the time I reached out, but the situation has been reconciled. She was upset. Okay, it took time. But you see, there are certain things. I love what you said about guardrails. What are the guardrails you are putting for yourself? Guardrails is like boundaries. What are the things that you will want to do? Not because you are too weak, not because, but, they always say when you give devil a strand of hair, he will take everything. That's all you need. That's all you need. The devil will always create an opportunity for you to fall into temptation, right? So, but don't make it easy for him. Don't make it easy by allowing things that should not be in your life, right? We've seen people that, they sleep with people they are not even attracted to. I've seen that happen. Like somebody that they normally you are not attracted, but because you were in a moment of vulnerability, maybe you broke up with somebody or whatever, you just a moment of vulnerability, something happened, and then you live with regret, and then you lose out on your relationship or whatever. So you need to be careful. So if you have people who are sleeping with people that they are not attracted to, imagine someone that you have history with. So you can't, you are not Holy Spirit, you are not God, you are human, you are flesh and blood, you have flesh and blood running through your vein. You will make mistake and you will fall, but don't create the opportunity to make the fall easier.
And as women, we always tell ourselves, oh, I didn't know how it happened. It's not beyond my control. Oh, I liked him once. No. You have self-control. You have self-control. You have self-control. You can control it, so don't allow it. Don't allow it.
Press the remote control.
Because you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. If it was the reverse is the case, we know what we will be saying as women. Nobody will hear what.
Exactly.
So you have self-control.
So tell us a lot. It's men has come. We'll be seeing everywhere. Men has come. Women has come. Women are strong.
Women are strong.
People like this. Women are strong. Well, guys, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Until we meet again, remember to like, to subscribe to the channel. Remember to follow us on all of our podcast platform. Our personal channels are also linked below. We'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Until we meet again, we still remain your favorite host, Victoria.
Yenny. Let me flick my head.
Alright, guys, we'll see you in the next one.